Yes, the people. This morning we're going there to see Mark Steele.
On their video, on that very video I was talking about, on our website, you can look it up, it's www.ui.org. Flyers, I've got flyers, I took it out for everybody. The bags of compost are £5 a bag, and they're normally £8.50. Okay. But we sell them on several websites and in shops, and people keep rebuying them, hundreds of pounds worth at a time. Right? And a farmer to make this investment, £7,000, and he'll have free fertiliser for 25 years.
Mark Steele's on in. 5 or 6 minutes.
Model, which was in fiberglass after 20 years. Right? And I found rats nibbling the edge of the boxes. Right? Because fiberglass, as you may know, is a rat-proof material because it's got fibres of glass. Right? They don't like that. And I said to one pet specialist, I met him, right when we were up in Cotton Farm, and not more. Rats will see some middle on a fiberglass model after 20 years. We've done that. But now, it's produced in aluminium because aluminium is now cheaper than fiberglass. With time, it's become a sustainable metal which can be recycled. Okay? We've got this attractive, it's right, it's the right moisture, it's aerated in a particular way to increase the fungi and bacteria so that when we open it,
What time's Mark on?
In 5 minutes.
5 minutes, cool. I've gone live on YouTube anyway.
Did you take a few with them?
Yeah, man.
So that comes at fucking
live. I'll have a chat now. Okay, chaps, Mark's going to be on in 5 minutes. These are his flyers. I'll pass this on and I'll come back and have a little chat, yeah?
The answer that people say, oh, if the plants are eaten, right? I had this in London, I was talking in Lewisham. If the plants are eaten, there must be really good plants because the bugs like them. That's actually not true. According to Howard, he said the bugs, the pest and disease are a sign that your crop is deficient.
Can you hold that for me 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Just put that in, yeah?
To what I've just said.
It's live on YouTube.
Say, oh, they like it, must be good. No, they like it because it's inefficient. It's nature's sign that there's something wrong with your soil. So we solve all this with a soil amendment. Any other questions? Oh yeah, go ahead. Please get the microphone. Yeah.
Hello Richard, my name's Tony. I've just a couple of questions actually, quickly. You say you grow a lot in polytunnels with this soil. Does that reduce the pollination or does it increase the pollination because of the lack of bees through the anematores and stuff like that?
Lovely question. Let me answer that. This year is so hot, right? We're on the third heat wave, right? I think it's the third now. So my tunnel, we can set this up for anybody who wants to do it. Instead of buying the conventional polytunnel, which is one sheet, like this, in a tunnel 3 or 4 meters long and quite high, we've done it with walls and a top that goes like that. So we've now taken off one roof section. Simple. Boom, 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 and bolt it off it. And you've got like an atmosphere that is not above 30 degrees. 35 is okay for tomatoes, but they need to pollinate it under 30. So we put in lavender plants, we put in the bee attractors, they're growing everywhere. And they get in the polytunnel. Did you know you can pollinate tomatoes like this? You just go to every stem, midday, and that sheds the pollen, and then all the neighbouring plants get fertilised. So it's as simple as that. You don't even have to do it with a brush, which I used to do many years ago. Like some laboratories do. But just doing that, you vibrate the pollen off. Absolutely incredible.
And would you use that on flower beds to plant vegetables in between as well?
Oh yes, absolutely. 2 inches a year is all right. And then in the winter, how we get a weedless farming system. Okay, I thought I don't want this long, but we have got that because we mulch down with weed fabric. Right? And why we use grass paths is very scientific, not just the moisture, but what grows in clover, what grows in grass? Clover, right? Clover. In England, clover, red or white, it's everywhere, if you know how to cultivate it. Right? We can generate clover, we've had it 9 inches high, because from the grass paths, it will automatically start to spread into the beds, which can be 1, 2 meters wide. We're going for 2 meter beds now. And this is the most natural green manure. So we've got an automatic green manure system. You don't have to buy the seeds and sow them. They're already there. You've just got to know the timings, how to generate the clover. We teach all this, right? So you've got the clover, and at the end of the summer it grows underneath the brassicas, which are 3 feet high. We've had massive brassicas, cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli, all the rest of it. Broccoli, 1 seed is tiny, right? We grow 4-foot bush by 4 foot high. But 1 seed. You can run a business just with a few seeds, locally. So what to speak, this puts out of business all the agricultural equipment. You don't need it. You do not need it. You just need to control what you're growing. So all the fat hen, the wild sorrel, you don't let them seed in your beds. Because fat hen generates millions of seeds. It's a great plant, put it in the hedge. Put it in the hedge. Don't grow it in the beds. Have all your veg growing in the beds. Yep.
And just one last question. The conventional farming, or the conventional farming that's used today, they're saying that the soil is dead because of the chemical pesticides and chemical fertilisers they've used on it. If this was used on a change from conventional to traditional and this fertiliser that you have, how long would that take to regenerate the soil? Because they're saying that it's going to take 3 years at least to put the goodness back in the soil.
That's a very good point. And it's absolutely right. It's still doing that long on a chemical field that's had 100 years of chemicals thrown at it. That's why we like being in Wales, because it's all hill farming, where they haven't put chemicals, they've had animals grazing. And we've got this system working in 1 season from weeds, abandoned fields, like you see on the drive up here. Thistles, we can do it in any field. No problem at all. And that field will be cheaper because they say it's unprotected.
So we've got time for 1 or 2 more questions if anyone wants to come up. Anyone? Oh, here we go. We've got a taker.
Hi. So I've been doing permaculture and related aspects for a while, focusing on soil health, but so it'd be really good to talk to you. But I just wondered, so in terms of scaling, sort of for you're working with arable, I guess. So does your system, how does that work? Is it if you've got a farmer, is there a proposition that they can kind of financially work with? You know, how much does the compost cost, and can they, you know, do a transition
Yeah.
from, you
The
know,
front,
how does that work?
the front page of our website says diversification for farmers, because they're struggling, pulling their hair out, trying to produce oilseed rape at something like £4,000 profit an acre. If they're lucky, if the whole crop fails because of the drought in the spring, when they sow it, they've missed the gap, you know, blah, blah, blah. Out of business, everywhere you look. The future is small-scale farmers growing locally. That is 100% definite, right? Because then you avoid the problems. This is a climate-friendly system. You don't have those problems. And that was your main point?
Yeah, my question was just, what's your proposition to farmers to transition? So
Oh yeah, well they
it's
just put an acre
downscale.
by acre of their farm over to this system. And then they'll prove it. They don't need the machinery, they don't need any fuel. All you need actually is a lawnmower. Ha! So we have a very nice ride-on lawnmower. Now that is worth the money because they're very cheap. They cost 5,000, right? A tractor costs minimum 12,000 quid, right? Upwards, you buy these Lamborghinis for 7,000. What is the need? You do not need to do that. You can grow grains in a row cropping system. But if you might seem small, but if it's got no pest or disease and a more guaranteed result, that's a winner. It's better to be in business with a less yield than a 100-acre field than it is to go out of business, right? Then you're finished. So this is the future, and for Africa, it's absolutely mega because they've got all the manpower. We hopefully have with the youngsters today. We can show you how it's. I call it half-day farming. I farm an acre myself. I'm 73, and I do half a day every other day, except in season.
Okay, thanks ever so much, Richard. That's great.
Alright, that's brilliant, Richard. Just shows we've been lied to about everything, haven't we? Absolutely everything. Richard, by the way, does your compost work on scalps?
They say the minerals in this can stop grey hair. Yeah, and we sell rock dust, which is full of 72 minerals, and that is what stops aging and grey hair.
And what's the website, Richard?
www.ggi.org.uk, or just Google Good Gardeners International. It'll come up.
ggi.org.uk. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Richard Higgins. Okay, next on we've got the inimitable, good job I don't drink, inimitable Mark Steele, who's going to talk about illegal technologies that are being covertly rolled out with no environmental health impact assessments. And if we're lucky, we might even get a little taster update on the Operation Taller countermeasure. Well, the prosecution, potential prosecutions that might. Anyway. Okay, without further ado, big hand, warm round of applause please for Mark Steele.
Well, what a lovely crowd. Is this mic working?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah? I'll tell you what, I'll stick it up here. Might be better. I'm just trying to get organised with the tech. Oh, you're filming now. You just popped that up. Looks good. Looks good, that's right. Yeah, let's get this one. Well, who's new blood? Anybody here who hasn't seen my stuff? Anybody new? Newies? Oh yeah, it's got to be more than that. Yeah? You're brand new as well. We're going to talk about some very, very serious issues that currently went on. So before this thing sets up, I'm going to just cover off Operation Tala quite quickly. Operation Tala was the police covering up the crime and any crimes that were related to the injectable. And I'd made several criminal complaints very early on, before the injection even came out. So I knew what it was, had all the technical details of it, I know how it connects to 5G. So I made several criminal complaints, totally ignored them. Mark Sexton's crime number now, the Metropolitan Police have referred themselves back to the IUPC. Mark contacted us yesterday, the Metropolitan Police have opened a criminal investigation in Operation Tala. The cat is well and truly out the bag. Now, we're very untrusting, I know. I've always been very untrusting, don't trust the police, never ever have done. They're pathological liars, that's why they had to bring in Pierce to stop them telling porkies. Right? So I had to bring in Pierce, and the reason, right, why we're in such a mess, because what they do, they just lie for a living, alright? This thing's fracturing. It's absolutely fracturing. So every single person here, not me, you, the people here are here to act, right? I always get people say to me, you know, what we're going to do? Go on the offensive. Offence is the best form of defence. So actually sitting on your hands, talking all the time, it's not going to help. And that's why there's some Blade Runners in the room. Where are you? Mark, come on, Mark. We've got Sam. Sam's at the back, he's hiding. He's done quite a bit of damage in Leeds. You all know Matt, allegedly done a bit of damage in London. They've just kicked his court case back to the back end of 27 because they are caking it. They can't have them in court and a jury. So think about the system. That means they can't trust the judges. Now we know most judges are corrupt to the core, but they can't rely on them all. This is what's going to break them. Now, a lot of people ask, how does he know? How does he know this stuff? Because where do I come from? Because you get the Brigade 77 lot and all of the other embedded intelligence operatives who are in your stand in your parks. Yeah. All organisations get infiltrated by local cops. There'll be a few sitting in this room. Unfortunately, they're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. Now, where do I get my intel from? I invented the world's first binocular waveguide. Now that waveguide, it was for head-up display systems, right? We had to build it into a motorsports product to get the standard, because pilot helmets, the DOT, they're based on the ECE 2205, the DOT standards. So I had to build it. Now I built it, I was quite proud of it. They all said it was impossible, couldn't be done. But I'm not one for being told that things are impossible. And I don't believe for 1 minute we're not going to stop these scum cults. It's not impossible. I keep hearing people, well, what we're going to do? Just do it. So, everything on that motorbike, from the screen to the helmet to the leathers to the petrol in the tank, are covered by standards. International agreed standards. So everything that's built's got a standard. So, as you can imagine, right, I got upset about the LED streetlights. All said, oh, he's crazy, conspiracy theorist. That light there, that's a weapon sight system that it's in a pilot helmet. You'll see it's green for a reason. Now the problem with green when you're looking at targets, not very good. Right? So you ask yourself the question, why is it green? It's 560 nanometers wavelength. Yeah? It's green for a reason. Now what I invented was a weapon sight system which I can give them full colour without damaging the eyesight. And what I mean by that, if you look at the blue spectrum, now all of your streetlights are blue phosphor coated. The phosphor wears off over time, and as you can see, that blue there, that's cell death. Retinal cell death from exposure to blue LEDs. You've got full spectrum, not much better, green. So now you know why the weapon sight system on the Apache helicopter and that pilot helmet is green. It sure doesn't blind them. The Americans had a load of bother, right, with infrared. It happened in Vietnam, it was all covered up, right, where they were damaging people's eyesight. So you can see I've got a bit of exercise when my local authority rocked up outside my house and put in these LED street lights. It's a blue phosphor coated LED. Now, that's London. So this picture here is London. You can see the increase in optical radiation. Optical radiation is a known environmental pollutant. The only organisations that can pollute you and get away with it are port authorities and lighthouses. So why does my local authority want to pollute my environment with these type of LEDs? Okay? Because what they went, oh, I had all orange lights. It's not because I like orange. It's not somebody rang the council and said, oh listen, we're going to have orange street lighting. It was orange for a reason, because it's lower risk. Not low risk, lower risk. The dog likes it. The new Public Health England warned local authorities that the LEDs would cause harm. They ignored it. So that's a government public body, right? This study showed a double-breasted prostate cancer. We have a cancer epidemic. One of the main causes, not the only cause, obviously, but one of the main causes is artificial light, optical radiation, and especially in this. Now, what you never want is what's called flicker. Pulse modulated lights are illegal. It's how I weaponise optical radiation. So you see that flicker, all your street lighting's pulsing, right? It causes retinal cell stress. These are category 2s. The maximum I can exposure to a category 2 is 0.25 a second. Now, they've just put them in all the new cars. Who's having trouble driving at night? Everybody. Yeah? You need to wear protective eyewear. I always encourage people, blue, gentleman knows what I'm talking about, blue mirror coated lenses when you're driving. The government are trying to bring in legislation to stop you from wearing sunglasses when you're driving. That's all they are. Nothing special about them. The mirror coat assists the mitigation of the 450 nanometers. That there is a weapon. So think about it. You've got a local authority who'll shut a restaurant because you've got the wrong coloured knives. They'll shut a construction site because the man haven't got an orange vest on. It's all about health and safety. So how come they deploy this equipment? Well, any environmental impact analysis was all part of 2030 vision. We've got the documents from Gateshead Council that were written in 2010. They were following a carbon reduction policy 2030. You're the carbon. They just didn't tell you. And the councillors and the council are that thick. But what? Guess what? They had to break the law to do it. And obviously when I discovered that, they tried to take us to jail to gag us. That's how desperate they were to cover up a massive crime, genocide. Now, asymmetrical warfare, it's an unconventional type of weapon system, so it's not your normal somebody rocking up outside your house with a gun, yeah? Like what they're doing in Ukraine, etc. It's all wrapped into net zero, climate agenda, all of those things that here tell you, sustainability, the most important thing, transport. So the transport narrative is how they've brought in a number of these weapon systems. There's one of the main actors, criminal, Mr. Khan, me, Matt, Graham, and the lads from Liverpool went to London to serve them with papers over the ULEZ narrative.
Woo.
He truly ignored it, right? And guess what? They gave him a knighthood. And the reason they gave him a knighthood was because I was going to run a private prosecution against him. If I want to run a prosecution against this character now, I've got to ask the Attorney General. When you can imagine what the Attorney General's going to say, can't you? He got a knighthood. On the same day we were in London, serving this character, right, this piece of dirt, the C40 city criminal, the MI6 were actually in Parliament talking to MPs about the existential threat, the national security threat of the street furniture, what had been deployed in the transport infrastructure. So, are we seeing any change? Have they stopped it? Are you seeing anybody removing it, apart from the Blade Runners? Right? All part of the low emission zone. Right? you've got a document here that's a UK authority document, and what it says is the World Economic Forum, who you didn't vote for, are picking the smart cities. So all your smart cities are being picked by a globalist entity, the Fourth Reich, Fourth Industrial Revolution. I think it just sounds a bit better than Reich, doesn't it? Because the penny might drop. When they rolled it out, right, now you've got to remember, Khan ruled this out because he said some China died of having breathing problems. The breathing difficulties have went up by 30%. These are 999 codes where people can't get their breath in London, and heart attacks have went up by 20%. So where's the director for public health? These are catastrophic injury and illness, and nobody's doing anything about it. So where are they? You know, well, you're paying these criminals hundreds of thousands of pounds in salaries, and all they're doing, taking the money and just keeping stum. Keeping their mouth shut, not saying anything. Cancers through the roof. Remember, 100 years ago, cancer was about 1 in 100. Yeah? You were exposed to hydrocarbons off chimneys, every household, people are sitting on the top of fires, all dangerous stuff, by the way, hydrocarbons, and I can tell you now, the material that comes out of your fire, not safe to breathe. But through thousands of years of sitting on campfires, we become fit. And that's why cancer was 1 in 100. It's now 1 in 2. They're now saying that everybody's going to get cancer, right? So what's causing it? What possibly could be causing it? That. Now this is what we discovered. I saw some pictures of some very brave lads going out and chopping these things down, and I thought, hang on a minute, I need to have a closer look, because that ain't no camera. And it's definitely not in the NPR camera. And the NPR camera takes a 2D image, you only need one vision engine. It's got 2. And also I could see these little dotty things on the outside. I thought that needs a bit closer investigation. So I eventually got to Matt Houston. And Matt said, come down to Hillingdon. I might know a couple of lads that might be able to assist and have a look at him. If anybody wants to have a look at the one, there's a lad over here has got one in the back of his van if you want to go and see. They weigh 7 kilo. That's £78,000 each, right? And there is tens of thousands of them across the whole of London. And what it tells you is, this unit live streams video. It's not a camera, is it? It's live stream video, but it also connects to the police, back office, and also to radar sensors. I've had 2 cases against Transport for London, 2 trials, 2 tribunals, right? They've denied in all of their statements that this connects to radar. The technical documents say it connects to radar. They said the radar doesn't exist. There's no radar in London, by the way. It's figurative in my imagination. I've seen it getting chopped down. So I contacted Matt. I said, right, Matt, I need to have a look inside one of these things. And obviously, he's a very helpful person. Right? And he went, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know somebody that can get you to have a look at that. So off we went. And what we discovered inside this was these. That's an laser symbol. These are Fabry-Perot structures. They're diodes. They are Osram black at 2,200 milliwatts each. 500s of class 4. So you've got 24 over class 4 diodes in there. Now, I can cause multi-photon ionization. It's one of the things I don't tell you about. You know, they all talk about non-ionizing radiation. It's perfectly safe. I mean, that's what you get from the sun. Have you ever used a magnifying glass with the sun and burnt your hand? Because I did when I was a kid. So all had magnifying glasses. So you see, if you use a lens to focus it, oh, that'll burn you. I can kill you with it. Right? So they'll tell you non-ionizing radiation, perfectly safe. Well, it's not. If you pulse it, that you can't see, right? You won't be able to see that because infrared, that'll cause eye damage. It's a pulse modulated frequency, all illegal, breach the IAEA standards, right? It's a criminal enterprise, but the bit I'm really interested in is not just that. Just above the red light there, there's a little black box, a little grey box there, very interesting piece of hardware, but the little black box hiding above the red light, that's what I'm really interested in. Because the weapon system, this bit is basically a target acquisition biometric sensor. So it can target acquire you, and then the little black box, it's going to do the business. And the reason why TfL said it doesn't exist. Now this is in Newcastle. That's what the infrared looks like through an infrared weapon sight system. So if I was on a battlefield, I'll use this weapon sight system to track down anybody who's looking at us. Alright, so if you've got a laser sight on us, I can see you. So that's what that is. On the right you see 32 cavity back weapon. They're having a bit of trouble with the blade runners at the minute. And you've got a 48 IR brain scanner. This is the government document in the US talking about flicker and how you never ever want it. So how we got all this flickering light? What are they really trying to do? The IEE standard, it's at Euro 2 15.6, and what it actually says there, this covers all transport infrastructure, but also it's you. They have the human automotive uses, but also for the body, human body, right? Medical health care and human body connectivity. 802 15.6. Now, this thing, on the left-hand side, you see the 48 NIR. I've got the technical documents from it, from a company. They say that's not in it. There's 48 IR in there. There's your two vision engines. So it's basically a three-dimensional stereoscopic scanner, and it's looking into your head. Why do you want a stereoscopic scanner on top of a pedestrian crossing, right, on the general public who know nothing about it? And the only reason we knew what this was, someone had to chop it down. Someone had to chop it down and take it to bits, because the accountants are just going to lie to you. They'll tell you it's perfect. Oh, do you know what? CE approved this, you know. It's CE approved, so it's perfectly safe. All of the electronic elements in an Exocet missile are CE approved. What does that tell you? I mean, this is the type of numpties I've got to deal with all the time, you know, in the councils, etc. Oh no, it's all perfectly safe, CE approved. So here we have, once again, multi-photon ionization using lasers, 6.6 electron volts. I can tell you now, that unit can deliver well over 6.6 eV. Yeah? So you've got an ionizing radiation brain scanner, standing at a pedestrian crossing, nobody told you. The councils don't even know what it is. Ben from Cambridge wrote to Cambridge Council and said, what's it for? No, we don't know. So our councils fit equipment, they don't know what it's for. I know what it's for, but they don't. That's interesting, isn't it? So I've spent public money. Now the other thing I was very interested in, obviously cataracts. When you expose this type of weaponry, you're going to see massive increases in cataracts. So that's, the NHS is doing document. Look at the amount of cataracts. That's assault. It's administering of a noxious substance, a breach of the 1861 Offence Against the Persons Act. They're assaulting you, they're damaging your eyesight. They call it fusion. Now, transport full not confused what fusion is, but this is their document, alright? Fusion technology, right, and obviously fusion from the battlefield. It's a mixture of radar detection and ranging, LiDAR and vision engines. That's the three things you need to require to be called fusion. On the battlefield, Israelis, Danish and Israeli soldiers, cancer. Young soldiers getting cancer, right, and guess what it was put down to? This type of interrogation equipment. So they have brought battlefield-derived technology into your streets and towns and villages. In small villages, North Yorkshire, tiny little villages you've got in your pedestrian crossing, it's absolutely wide. Now, this radar element, the little grey box that you saw before in London, right, that's called Senses. It's a 2.4 gigs radar. It scans into your vehicle very much like the Flock. We've heard a lot about the Flock stuff going on in America. It's the same as Flock, just hasn't got a vision engine, doesn't need one. Because what it can do, it can scan your car. Anybody that uses facial recognition over your phone, you know when you're scrolling on your phone, it's taking your fingerprints, right? It's taking your fingerprints, it knows exactly who you are by all your connections in your mobile phone. Senses, this radar element, looks into your car and it identifies exactly who you are, what vehicle you're driving, right? And every other bit of connectivity from your mobile device in the home, as well as devices in the vehicle. It's also audio able. So this is the Sensi's document. What it says is, it can tell in a car how many pedestrians there are. It can speak to your Wi-Fi, your Mac, your media access codes. So anybody, unfortunately, you have the pokey tracking technology, it's picking you up. It knows exactly who you are. Yeah. Sorry. Let's give them a little bit of a buy. It anonymizes the data. Well, however, if you believe that, you'll believe they went to the moon, right? So this is the type of technology we're getting a lot of people. There's a lot of kickback about it at the minute, for good reason, because people think are spying on them. Well, it gets worse than that, doesn't it? So this is the Hemerdal radar that I said didn't exist. Unix traffic in London. This is the AJD unit, and that's their mass irradiating. Now, mass irradiating people into pedestrian crossings. What do they want? What they're after? We know the globalist plan, depopulation, so what they're really after, well, I can tell you now, this type of radar, it can monitor your heart at a distance. So I can monitor your heart rate, right? That's clever, isn't it? So you think, so, well, hang on then, what do they want to know what my heart's beating like for? Yeah? Because I'd be asking that question. The other thing you'll see, the law is, all of this equipment, you have to have this as a minimum, because obviously you've got radiation emitters here that are extremely dangerous. These calculated, not inverse square law, this inverse square law, sorry, not phased array. It's totally different technology. If this was a normal scanner, it was a normal sensor scanner, right, the maximum I can expose you to is 3 meters from that. But it isn't that. Something completely different. It has to have at least a physical barrier. That's the law. You see a physical barrier on any of them? No. Do you see any stickers, non-ionizing radiation danger? No. So they're being fitted illegally. They didn't tell you about it. They didn't tell you what a reason, because when we got inside it, what we discovered, well, it's a little bit more than just a sensor. So what you see here, right, is your 24 antenna, that's phased array. 24 antenna, phased array, it's sitting on a ceramic substrate. You use ceramics when things are going to get hot. So there you've got ceramics, that's the gun sight, that is a weapon system, right? It's sitting on ceramics for a reason, it's going to run hot, and you can see it's what's called radiation hardened in the back there. All the electronics is in the back side of it. This is inside the AJD unit. Once again, you've got a 32 cavity back. That there is a meandered antenna, it's 5G, so that's the 5G antenna. It talks to the network, and this is what I can kill you with it. It's called a synthetic aperture. So just imagine, I've got all these 32 radar elements aiming like that, like a shotgun, yeah? Scanning back. What I do through a synthetic aperture, I just focus them at you, and that's it. That's how you weaponize it, and that's why these are classified as weapons. Now, this is another bit of it that we've also discovered, and this is audio-able, it's 24 gigs. 24 gigs is a very interesting frequency. You can't measure it with a normal meter, right? Can't measure it. Your normal meter has to go over to 8 gigahertz. This is beyond that. So you've got an audio-able type technology, same meandering antenna, talking the 5G network. China, by the way, goes directly back to a GPS module and goes to China. Now, to make a point, this is a radar gun that cops use that give them the bounce back. So firing the radar at a car, the bounce back was giving them cancer. That is not on ceramics. There's the antennas, there's 4 antennas on there, and that's a ceramic. That's not a ceramic, it's a PCB board. Tells me, even though it's extremely dangerous, it's not a weapon. If it was sitting on ceramics, I'd be concerned. These are 12 volts, the other ones are main supplied. So you've got a 12 volt gun that gives cops cancer. The reason for that, here's the patents. Phased array is an electronic weapon. It's an electronic weapon system. That's phased array. These are covert electronic weapons to cause illness, sickness, and obviously death. There's a look at the amount of patents that are in this field, where the defence industry have been developed. They've been developing for quite a number of years. Goes back earliest 1976, Russian embassy. Where they were attacking the Yanks in America, in Moscow. Now, one of the things with this type of technology, you have to understand, you don't need high power, right? All I have to do, right, is change the polarity of your bloods, and you'll get coagulations, correlate, relay, depending on your French. I'm a Geordie, so I just say relay, but I might be wrong. So there you have, you've got stacking of the blood, that causes and potentially causes stroke. That's why we had kids in gates getting nosebleeds. Right? Kids, your nose is a valve to protect you from having a stroke, so you bleed out the nose. So when I had this crap in gates before I got it removed, that's why we're getting kids. Now here's the really interesting bit. Jamming. Right? Now, the 24 gig radar that they've got on the pedestrian crossings, I can monitor your heart rate, yeah? But what I can also do, I can jam it. Now what's well known, sensors, these wireless sensors where they oscillate, right? These wireless sensors can cause a heart attack anyway. So you know you get people dropping down dead, right? Or having a heart attack. Well, they can accidentally cause a heart attack, but guess what? I can deliberately cause your heart attack. So that's what's happening there. So when I jam the signal by sending a cancellation wave, you drop like a stone. And that's what 24 gigs has been developed for. So you've got a 24 gig phased array unit. Now, this was an unclassified military document where what it says, exactly what I've just said before, which Barry Trower talked about, you don't need high power. So when they tell you that it's low power and it's perfectly safe, you know they're talking dog's crap, yeah? It's total nonsense. Low power tells you there, don't need high power and that can cause a heart attack and a stroke, right? Low level microwave radiation, sterility, well known. That's why a lot of people are now struggling, you know, with fertility and all the rest of it. They've got Wi-Fi in the house, that's why the dogs are getting cancer. The stuff we found in Sunnyside, so there's some of the equipment, this is a little village in Sunnyside, but the other thing that a lot of people have been asking us about lately, what's all this BT stuff ending up on these posts for, right? Because we're quite concerned. Well, if you look at that, right, that is, right, it's fibre optic. Now when I circle fibre optic, you hear you. So it's eavesdropping. So they're listening to you. I mean, you don't need to, make no mistake about it, you've got to go about phone your pot, they can hear you. I mean, that one was a £10 billion weapon system. It's all military grade, everything in your smartphone, everybody that's got one, I can blow it up in your pocket remotely. We saw that in Lebanon, all mobile phones with lithium cobalt batteries, and blow them up. That's why I'm going to charge that one, because the battery doesn't work, right? It's totally flat, because I don't want any charge in it, in case someone blows it, because that's a big one. This one I've got in my pocket, it's gonna blow that way. You'll never have them in your top breast pocket though, alright? So it's really dangerous stuff. Now, here, let's get on to 5G. The 802.15.6 is the 5G standard, that's it there, 802. How they're gonna hook you up to the network? Operate Project Fear. They terrorised you to take an injectable, right? Matt Hancock should have been locked up, still walking the streets. How he has been arrested, that's beyond my comprehension. Yeah? Hopefully, in the fullness of time, he may be. That was terrorism. One of the things that I came across and were quite upset about is some of the security services have been told, don't take the injectable, right? But take the PCR test. That was clever, wasn't it? So that one of the main weapons, right, which causes the frontal lobotomy. You ever spoke to people who've had a PCR test? Rammed it right up their nose and you're having a conversation with them, you can just see them, it's like putting the shutters down, it goes, just like that, right? Can't understand what you're talking about. The reason for that was a hydrogel bud, that's the little hook on the end, and what it basically deposited an assist, it deposited an assist for the radar. I mean, why, you know, it beyond comprehension. So there he is. Now Hancock, remember, he was the health secretary, and he did a deal with Bill Gates in China over what they were going to inject into you, as well as the PCR tests. Those PCR tests were being shipped in 2017. Before the COVID-19 PCR test, 2017, I've got the international manifest, the transport manifests. Matt Hancock admits in his WhatsApp post that he shipped you on behalf of Bill Gates. That's basically how the technology works. Now you see, I'm not saying that Matt Hancock knows that they're going to murder you. He might not do. Bill Gates probably knows. He's even said it. He's going to inject you and kill you. This was a study carried out, and what I was looking for from the get-go was these heavy metals, lanthanides. Lanthanides to hook you up to the network. On the battlefield, right, these smart technologies, data fusion, so we've heard a lot about these data centers, they have to get them up before they pull the trigger. So we've got an opportunity, we've got a few years left, yeah? And that's why it's very important what's been going on lately. Data centers are extremely dangerous. It's all about monitoring control, understanding who the victim's going to be, whether after their DNA, they want to organ harvest you or whatever it is. They need these data centers up and running before they can actually pull that trigger. The thermal effects, I mean, think about it. I say to you, you need to reduce your power usage. You need to reduce your water usage. What for? Because they want it. It's absolutely unbelievable. And people are, you've got councillors signing these off without any environment, same as the 5G. Same as the 5G. Now, 5G, every 5G mast rate is supposed to be a half a kilometre away from each other. So you can see it's going to be a temperature increase, yeah? Because microwaves, believe it or not, when you put them in air and then you've got this substrate that they're spraying on with 24/7, it's going to get hot. Everybody's getting a bit warm. Nobody's talking about if you fill the cities and the towns and the villages with 5G, microwaves cause a temperature increase. It's basic physics. Your councillors have lost the plot. They think it's you. They think it's coming out the back of your car. I've got mental health problems. Seriously, I was in a council chamber on Thursday, and the Labour lot, honestly, I think they have totally lost it. They've totally lost the plot. So, you've got this mass increase in temperature, but this is from Leeds. You've got 3 5G masts and a telecommunications mast in one photograph. So they're not even half a mile apart. Where's the planners? The planners have been told they've got to be at least, half a kilometre away from each other. Well, they're not, are they? Somebody's not doing their job properly. And the reason they're not, 5G, people were misled from the get-go. 5G is not millimetre waves. The main blanket coverage is sub-gig. It's long range. So each 5G mast got a 100-mile reach. So why do they want them every half a kilometre outside your house? It's absolute garbage. This is an Ericsson document, and Ericsson say it's impossible from an environmental perspective, can't be done. Guess what? Your government did it. They had to pay for it. It can't be done. And they're ceramic heads. I know why they're ceramic heads, by the way. Right? What 5G really is, it's a battlefield strategic plan. And once they get that mesh network up, this is what they're going to do. They're developing drone warfare now extensively. Right? You've got a new vehicle, you won't be able to run out. Right? You won't be able to get out of the city, you won't be able to get out of the town. And they're developing drone warfare now. And once you've got that mesh network up, right, believe us, they can finish it off. So the ones that are doing trigger on the pedestrian crossings and murder, these things can pick them up and track them. And unfortunately, that's what 5G is. It's a battlefield strategic weapon system. I told people from the get-go, they said, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It can't be, it's impossible, because we've got this government that loves you. Matt Hancock loves you. He loves you that much, he gives you the safe and effective. Safe and effective, all right. Right. Lithium cobalt batteries, right, bombs. This study just come out of Germany. 100 micro Tesla minimum in the cabin of any electric vehicle. That's hybrids, etc., right? The maximum ICNIRP guidance rate at 6.2 micro Tesla, it will cause sterility. So any local authority that you have is pushing net zero to put you in an electric car, they're planning to murder you. It's genocide. It's a sister genocide. And you see, in law, there's no ignorance, is no defence. There might be a mitigating factor when it comes to sentence you, right, or hang you, or whatever happens, right, but I can tell you now, there's no defence. Now, this is one of my favourite videos, right? This was a hybrid diesel vehicle. Obviously the lad didn't have much diesel left. The battery started going on fire. it expanded what gases were gassing off the diesel, and eventually it did £6 million worth of damage. That would have stopped hybrids and electric vehicles. In any normal world, you've got a German-backed government study that shows it causes sterility, right? Cancer, sterility. The cancer bit's a bit controversial. We know it does, but it's a bit of a controversial subject. There's no controversy about very magnetic fields causing sterility. So you've got a council. I've already contacted NECA, North East Combined Authority. They're giving Go North East £18 million to put kids into electric buses to sterilise them. This is the type of criminal, and I've wrote to them and I've sent them the documents, not mine. It's a fully funded German study which shows radiation levels in electric vehicles are catastrophic. Anybody got one? Anybody here? Dare put your hand up.
Got Sky Electrics.
They weren't messing. It's not as if they haven't told you, right? In this meeting, this COP agreement, what they said was, there's far too many of them, we need to genocide them and get rid of them as best we possibly can, right? Whichever way possible, we need to get rid of them. That's a declaration of war. They have declared war on us. The Blade Runner lads here, who I think deserve another round of applause. Thanks for that. Criminal Damage Act 1971. Right? It is your defence. These are what all you have to do is get the knowledge. Don't do anything in your mind if you don't think you're right. If you think what you're doing is wrong, don't do it. If you think you're right, do it. But you've got to have that in your mind when you carry out any act. The trick to fixing criminals, right, who have populated, infested all of your local authorities, all your governments, right, they are behind an illegal fitment to do you harm. This is what low emission zones all about. All under the guise, right, of this low emission zone, they have deployed illegal electronic assault kill boxes in your towns, your villages, in your cities, and we have to stop them. We're going to stop them. Yep. God bless everybody. Timber. That's how we deal with crime. God bless.